So we have about 45 officers in our village. My security is warranted due to the fact of threats and things of that nature, but what people not stating is it's in our CBA. That's our collective bargaining agreement. That's our union contract. So it comes with the seat. That's what people not saying. I didn't make this up. I didn't just create this and say, I want security.
How many officers is it?
How many officers is what?
On security detail.
I'm not going to say how many due to the threats on my life. So,
but if it's in your CBA.
It is in my CBA. I'm not doing anything wrong. I even went to court due to the fact of people suing me saying, can I have a security detail? And I won. The judge said I can't have a security detail.
Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is facing increasing scrutiny over her extravagant spending, sparking outrage among residents and drawing the attention of the FBI. While she dismisses allegations of financial misconduct as baseless, the federalites' investigation into her use of public funds is gaining momentum. Business owners and former employees have come forward, accusing her of wielding political power to punish those who refuse to support her financially. At the heart of the controversy is Dolton's $2 million deficit. Despite the town's financial struggles, Tiffany has indulged in a lavish lifestyle, taking first-class flights, staying in luxury hotels, and dining at high-end restaurants, all funded by taxpayers. What was once seen as excessive spending has now escalated into concerns over potential misuse of public funds for personal enrichment. Reports indicate that Tiffany has been using township credit cards for both personal and official expenses with little oversight, raising red flags about financial accountability. Adding to the controversy are billboards across Dolton featuring her image, a clear violation of laws prohibiting the use of public funds for self-promotion. While Tiffany insists these billboards promote local events, critics argue they primarily serve to glorify her. With mounting evidence against her, the key question remains: is Tiffany truly serving Dolton, or is she using her position for personal gain? As the FBI intensifies its investigation, residents anxiously await whether she will finally be held accountable or continue to evade consequences.
Like, for instance, City of New Orleans has a policy that city officials don't fly first class.
Okay.
Do you have that?
We do not.
Do you believe you should have a policy? Because again, the critics are that you're flying first class, that you're staying in four-season hotels, high-dollar hotels, having what they call extravagant dinners, and those are your critics. Are you the city official in order to make sure that you're beyond reproach, looking at establishing a city policy in terms of how money is spent when traveling?
This is the way I feel about it. People will talk about anybody. They're not doing the work. They only talk about the people that's at the top.
Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dolton and supervisor of Thornton Township, is under intense scrutiny for her extravagant spending, which is funded by taxpayers while the community struggles with severe financial difficulties. Living more like a celebrity than a public servant, Tiffany has been spotted flying first class, staying in luxury hotels, dining at high-end restaurants, and plastering her image across billboards throughout town. Meanwhile, Dolton faces a $2 million deficit, with many families struggling to make ends meet. Residents are questioning the mayor's priorities, as her personal comfort seems to take precedence over the town's urgent needs. Despite growing backlash, Tiffany insists her actions are lawful, arguing that her costly travel arrangements and accommodations are necessary for her role. However, with an FBI investigation underway into her financial dealings, many wonder whether she is truly working for the people or simply protecting her own interests. Critics highlight a deep disconnect between her lavish lifestyle and the harsh realities faced by Dolton's residents, whose infrastructure, schools, and public services are in desperate need of funding. One of the most controversial aspects of Tiffany's tenure is her use of public money for self-promotion. While she defends the billboards bearing her image as a way to promote the town, many believe they serve only to enhance her political brand. Her apparent disregard for rules prohibiting the use of taxpayer money for personal advertising has further fueled public outrage. Adding to the controversy is her involvement in a breast cancer charity accused of misusing public funds. The allegations surrounding the charity's finances have only deepened concerns about her management and integrity. Simultaneously, Tiffany has increased her personal security detail, citing threats against her life. While some believe this is a necessary precaution, others see it as another taxpayer-funded luxury meant to portray her as a victim rather than a leader facing accountability. Despite mounting controversies, Tiffany remains defiant, claiming she is the target of a political smear campaign. She blames the trustees and her political opponents for attempting to remove her from office, insisting that all accusations, lawsuits, and investigations are merely tactics to discredit her. However, with the FBI digging deeper and public frustration growing, the legitimacy of her claims is becoming harder to defend. As Dolton's financial crisis worsens and the evidence against Tiffany continues to pile up, the question remains, is she truly serving the people, or is she using her position for personal gain? While she enjoys a life of luxury, the town she was elected to lead is left struggling. Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dolton and supervisor of Thornton Township, is facing mounting scrutiny as her leadership comes under fire amidst allegations of financial mismanagement, self-promotion, and personal enrichment at the expense of the town. With Dolton suffering from a $2 million budget deficit, crumbling infrastructure, and underfunded schools, the town's financial health paints a dire picture. Yet, Tiffany's priorities appear misaligned, focusing instead on personal luxury, extravagant living, and dismissing accountability by blaming perceived political adversaries. Her actions have led many to question whether she has lost touch with the community she was elected to serve, with suspicions growing that her own financial interests have taken precedence over the well-being of Dolton's struggling residents. Further complicating the situation is the involvement of Tiffany's former right-hand man, Keith Freeman, who is now accused of bankruptcy fraud. Once a key ally and confidant, Freeman now finds himself at the center of the FBI's investigation into Tiffany's financial dealings. His direct involvement in key financial decisions and transactions under scrutiny adds another layer of complexity to the ongoing investigation. With Freeman's legal troubles threatening to tarnish Tiffany's already damaged reputation, suspicions continue to mount regarding her own potential misconduct. Despite the growing body of evidence against her, Tiffany remains unwavering in her defense, adamantly claiming that she is the target of a political conspiracy. She insists that the FBI's probe is based on falsehoods, maintaining that lawsuits against her are part of a coordinated effort to undermine her authority and damage her leadership. Tiffany portrays herself as a martyr, arguing that she is being unfairly attacked because of the work she claims to be doing for the town. However, as the investigation unfolds and more evidence emerges, residents of Dolton are left to question whether Tiffany Henyard is truly committed to improving their community or if she is simply exploiting her position for personal gain. Her extravagant spending, relentless self-promotion, and alleged involvement in controversial charities have cast serious doubt on her ethical conduct. With the FBI scrutinizing her financial activities and public outrage intensifying, Tiffany's political future now hangs in the balance. Each passing day brings new revelations, making the accusations against her increasingly difficult to ignore. The people of Dolton are demanding answers, and the question remains, will Tiffany be held accountable for her alleged misuse of public funds? Or will she manage to escape scrutiny and weather the storm of controversy surrounding her? As the federal investigation deepens, the complexities of the case continue to unfold. Tiffany Henyard, once seen as a bold leader, now finds herself at the center of a political scandal that is rapidly eroding public trust. With multiple lawsuits, FBI scrutiny, and the betrayal of former allies, the people of Dolton are left wondering whether their elected leader is truly serving their interests or simply using her position to enrich herself at their expense. Tiffany's fall from grace began with accusations of using taxpayer money for personal indulgences. Lavish dinners, first-class flights, stays at luxury hotels, and personal branding through billboards bearing her image. These expenses, seemingly disconnected from the town's growing financial struggles, have only fueled public skepticism. With a $2 million deficit and essential services in disrepair, Dolton's residents see her lifestyle as a glaring contradiction to their daily struggles. What further complicates matters is the mystery surrounding the missing $15 million Tiffany claims to have raised for Dolton. Despite her repeated declarations of being the town's top fundraiser and economic savior, financial records tell a different story. The town's bank accounts show alarming shortfalls, and the funds she boasts of bringing in appear either unaccounted for or mismanaged. The stark contrast between her public statements and Dolton's economic reality has led to growing demands for accountability. Amidst this escalating controversy, Tiffany's once loyal right-hand man, Keith Freeman, has turned against her. Once a trusted figure in her administration, Freeman has now chosen to cooperate with the FBI in an effort to protect his own reputation. His decision to work with federal authorities could prove disastrous for Tiffany, as he possesses direct knowledge of her financial dealings and extravagant expenditures. Freeman, privy to the inner workings of her administration, holds crucial information about her alleged misuse of public funds, her unchecked spending, and her questionable financial maneuvers. As the investigation gains momentum, Freeman's testimony could be a turning point.